Welcome to the show, Jamaal. How are you? I love the pose, bro. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, family. How you feeling, bro?
I'm amazing, man. Amazing, man. I feel rushed today, but I know whenever I talk to you, whenever we kind of hang out, there's always a sense of calm that comes over me. So I'm hoping our
Absolutely.
conversation today will give me that calm that I need.
Oh, I got you, man. And one of the reasons I'm so calm is because I do a lot of drugs. So no, I'm joking, man.
This is my podcast. What the heck am I doing? What kind of drugs? Enlighten us, please.
Oh, okay. One of the drugs I do a little bit of love. I do a little bit of happiness. I do a little bit of enlightenment. Mix that with a little bit of wisdom, and then I smoke it in a pot called knowledge.
Welcome everybody to the Nelly's Echo podcast. And today I have my very good friend Jamaal Black Root. What's up, Jamaal? I love the pose, brother. Look at the beard. Look at the
What's going
beard,
on?
man. Your beard game
Thank
is strong.
Hey, man, I gotta do what I gotta do for the people, man, and for my face, to be honest with you. So
I who was that? What
yeah,
was that? What was that video you did recently? A couple of I saw a couple of months ago. It was with Joy Carter.
yeah. So
Oh,
that is the funny thing you mentioned that. I wish I had a CD to
yeah.
talk about. Oh, here it is.
No,
Bam!
that's
So
my
it's
man.
actually off of this project, Root Canal.
Okay,
And it is the first song. I'm leading off with the heaviest song.
not
This
booty.
one right here. Boom. Nat Booty.
Not booty.
So yeah, shout out to Joy Carter, y'all.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, at Joy Carter Music. She's awesome. You can follow her on Instagram. Check her out, man. Joy did
Mhm.
it. Whatever acronyms you want to look for. She's a phenomenal vocalist, good person, beautiful
Yeah.
spirit, hilarious. And she was doing something on social media. And what she was doing on social media was advertising, hey, I want to do something called a 60-second feel good. So
Mm.
any song when you're feeling in a certain place, that makes you feel good. It helps to get you out of that place. What song is that? So she just
Mm.
posted it, to get people interacting with her page, but also to, see what's going on with folks that are on her page. And I responded, I was like, yo, that's a great idea. She said, so what's your song? And I said, pretty much any Earth, Wind, and Fire song, but specifically Fantasy by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And of course, Nat Booty. And she said, who's Nat Booty by? And I was like, it's by me. And it's amazing. So then
Self plug.
right. So she heard the song before live, but she never heard it in the studio. Shout out to Right Way Productions, Right Way Studios. So she listened to it and literally called me back maybe about 10 minutes after I posted, and she said, "Dude, this song is great." And I was like, "Yeah." And she said,
No, I was. Go ahead. Finish your thing, and I'll ask you a question. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. And I think instead of her just doing like covers of other songs,
Yeah.
she had the idea to now do covers of original songs. And she said, yo, I got a treatment for Nat Booty. It'll be 60 seconds. I see a vision of it being like 1970s.
It was beautiful, bro.
Gordon Park style,
It was
Melvin Van
beautiful, bro.
Peebles, blaxploitation, whatever. And I said, cool, I'm with it. So we made that thing happen. And her editing, she worked with Timothy Christmas, who's another amazing gentleman. And he did the shooting. She did the editing.
She edited that video herself?
She edited the video herself, dude. She's looking at the frames and everything. She shot it in a certain way, in a way that I don't really know how to explain because that's not my forte.
Yeah.
But she did that. And I want to say we shot the video on a Tuesday.
Okay.
It was done on Friday. She dropped it on Friday.
I love that efficiency. That's how I do business.
Yeah, it was beautiful, dude. So yeah, she's awesome. What were you about to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm still stuck in the booty and that booty. So what? So I feel like I have an idea what it is, but I want you to explain. So, by the way, there are gnats all over my house right now, bugging the crap out of me. So, what is the premise of that song? If you don't mind me asking.
So glad you asked. I'm so glad that you asked that question.
Yeah.
So, the obvious thing could be like, oh, booty, but that's really not what it's about, right? So
I figured. Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, actually one of my favorite duos, is a group from Atlanta called Outkast. And on their first album, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music, they had a intro by somebody they called Peaches. I'm not sure if that's really her name, but it was called Intro by Peaches. And she said, it's gonna be fat like ham bone and tight like nat booty. And when I heard that, I've always just been a fan of saying something was tight like nat booty. And when I had a band, I actually this is another thing too. Nobody but the people in the band know this. A gentleman by the name of Quentin Randall, real good brother. He was
I know Quentin Randall. Yeah,
he was the guitarist when in the first iteration of the band, the first formation of the band, before we even had a name. So we were just Black Root and his band. Like we didn't have a band name. And one day in rehearsal, there was just a real funky groove, and it wasn't even a groove that we chose for the album, but it was just a little funky groove. And I just kept going tight like nat booty, tight like nat booty, keep it tight like nat booty, and I just kept doing that. And the beat was very syncopated. It was a great rhythm. And Quentin looked at us and said, "Yo, the name of our band should be Nat Booty." And I was like, you know what? I kind of like that. So it was 5 people in the band at the time. So me and Q were like, yes, Nat Booty. And then we went to every other member of the band, and they were like, absolutely not. And
isn't that how it always is?
Yeah, they were like, no. And a part of me was like, well, it's my band. I should do it anyway. So then I thought about the logistics of it, and I said, well, what would the logo look like? It would be, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
can you even see?
Right, so like a little tiny gnat with a big old booty. Like, what's that going to look like? Like, how appropriate is that for children? How many festivals?
Wouldn't that just be a booty, not a little tiny gnat with a big booty? Right, just a booty.
Tiny gnat booty, real tight booty, like some Parasuco jeans or something, right? So I said, nah. And then I said, you know what? But that might work because it's so weird. It might be great, you know. So then we started thinking about stuff we don't really need to think about when we make music.
So true.
Just make good music, you know. And ironically, a lot of people don't know this either. But now, you know, since millions of people will be watching your podcast, Nelson.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yes.
Millions.
Yes. Millions. I can see every nostril.
Well, in that case, let me cover that up. But yes, so the name Black Root Underground, which is the name of one of my bands, came. I was playing chess at Land of Kush, over there off of Utah in the city.
You playing chess?
Yeah, I was playing chess. I was playing chess with Forte. I was playing chess with
Oh yeah, I know Forte, the trombone player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Forte. I was playing chess with him, and to be fair, he wasn't winning. I definitely smacked him up a little bit. But to be fair, he wasn't a chess player, and I'm really not either. I just had a couple of moves that won. And on the way out, I was thinking about a name, and I was a big fan of OWX, which is Femi's band, the Out of Water Experience.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, so Femi to Drive Fish and the Out of Water Experience. And I was thinking, I said, well, it could be Black Root and the Underground Experience. And I was like, that is way too close. So I don't think that's going to work. And then the acronym for Black Root Underground Experience would have been BRUX. And I have no idea what that means. So I think my drummer, shout out to Brian.
Have I met Brian before?
Yeah, you did. He was at our show that we did at the 8x10.
Okay, yeah, met him then.
So Bryant, we said, Black Root, the Underground Experience, and he said, why don't we call it, call it that, but just take off the word experience.
So that way, it's not too close to the Femi Out of Water Experience. I see.
Then I said Black Root, and we all said it in the car. It was, I think 4 of us were in the car at the time, and we all said Black Root Underground.
Yeah.
And then I called Maurice, who was our keyboard player, and I said, I didn't even greet. Normally you call, you say hello, whatever. The phone rang. I was like, brrr. He was like, hello. I was like, Maurice, Black Root Underground. He said, I like that. And that was our name. That's been our name ever since. So that's how we got that.
You know what's cool about that story is that whenever it feels right, you know how it is. You're on stage with your musician friends with your band, and you guys just go in the groove. You go off on a little tangent, but when it feels right, everyone can kind of look at each other and go, that's right. And the reason why I brought that up was because we did a song together called One Day. We collaborated. You and I collaborated with my wife, Kendra.
Absolutely.
And Kendra J. Awesome producer and singer. And we also collaborated with the beat maker and the actual original songwriter, Charles Longoria.
Yes.
But the reason why I brought that up was because I look back at the video today, just kind of reminisce about the experience we had
Right.
creating that awesome masterclass and masterpiece. And I looked at the video, and there were several points in the video because, mind you, we didn't choreograph the video at all. We did not
Right.
choreograph our moves at all.
We did
But
not.
if you watch as we're gesturing in the video, we're doing the same things without it being choreographed, and that just gave me the impression that, man, this was right. This was the right
Yeah,
energy, the right persons to do it with, and it
absolutely.
just we were locked in. We were locked in, and it felt right
Yeah.
from the beginning.
And you know why? It's because we're black, Nelson. And
Really?
that's it's genetic. Kind of what we do.
With the rhythm, or
Yeah, but all of that, man. Like we're so connected. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
that, ironically, I think the unfortunate happenstance of the pandemic has allowed us to realize how connected, how interconnected we are more so than we've ever been, because we've had a lot less distractions. Some of them are slowly coming back. So, like they've opened up a couple of states, they've opened up some cities, they've opened up travel in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Games have started again, football season started, but
True,
before
sports.
that, we really just had art and Zoom calls. You know what I mean? Art, social media, Zoom calls, and people who
True.
were essential employees working. And that gave people a time to like be forced to see certain things, or be forced to realize that certain things were missing and remaking other connections. You know what I mean? So I think that you and I fortunately had that connection prior to us having to look for it or realize that we needed that connection, or it was something that was there. Like, oh, this is there. We, even the way we connected and built our relationship, because you and I have known each other for years, man.
Yeah.
And I think, I met you on Eastern Avenue over at T-Volve.
T-Volve. That was the first. That is true. Yeah, I
That was
remember
the
that
first
day.
time I met you. And before T-Volve, I think it used to be called Theology. But I
Yeah,
think
it was
like
like 3 blocks away from the current location. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Shout out to T-Volve, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to T-Volve, And
Sonny and Dell.
Shout out to Sonny and Dell, beautiful people, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw you there at Be Free Fridays.
Yeah.
With, the event
Love.
that Love hosted. Shout out to Love. And when I heard your voice, dude, I was like, this dude is amazing. And I can't remember the song that you did, but all I remember is that you just had your guitar, man, and you were strumming, and you're like, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I think it was called Young Man. Young Man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It was such a phenomenal, and I was like, dude, this guy is really good. Like he's gonna, and everybody said, not everybody, but sometimes people say that he's gonna end up on TV or he's gonna be famous, blah blah blah, or he's gonna do well. Because I think at that age, I realized that being on TV doesn't mean you're doing well. Being on TV just means that you're on TV, right?
True. So I know. True.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, but I was like, he's gonna be on a show doing something. And then I remember I didn't see you for a while. And then
I went on tour for a little bit.
Yeah, you went on tour, and I think you did the college circuit and some other things with your band. Mm-hmm. And then I'm watching The Voice, and I see this chocolate man.
Chocolate.
You know what I'm saying? From Nigeria on there. And I was like, yo. And they called
that guy.
Because I didn't know Nelson. I knew Nelly. Nelly's Echo. So they're like.
They actually called me Nelly's Echo in the show.
They did
them call me that.
But they said, Nelson, how do you pronounce your last name?
Emokpai.
Emokpai. I always want to pronounce it right. So I know how to spell it, but I want to make sure I enunciated it properly. So they were like, but of course, on the TV show, they did not pronounce it correctly. That's what I asked. So, so they were like, Nelson Emokpai, but they said it wrong. And then I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then I heard you, man. I was like, I already knew he was going to do this. This I already knew. And then I saw Austin. I think Austin was a few years before, right? Or after?
No, Austin was, I want to say 2 or 3 seasons after I was on.
Okay. Yeah, because you know what? The Voice, the way they started doing seasons, you and I come from an era where you did a season. The season was from fall until spring. You know what I mean? And then the next season is the following fall.
Exactly.
But I think the way The Voice did it, by the time 1 year was over, they already had 3 seasons. You know what I mean? Yeah, like 2 or 3 seasons. So
the way it's set up right now, it's 2 seasons. But yeah, I think Austin was, well, technically it was 3 seasons afterwards. I could be wrong, but that would be technically like a year and a half
right,
after I was on the show and he was on the show. But going back to T-Volve and the connection you and I had, I
yeah,
think I think it's more of a person to person connection because I've played with a lot of musicians. I've played with a lot of people. I've been in a lot of stages, and I'm sure you can probably say the same as well.
yeah,
And I don't vibe with everybody, you know.
right,
And I find my greatest the thing I look for the most in any musician that I'm on stage with is something you probably will never guess, and that thing is kindness. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So I have a certain skill level myself when I get on stage. I have a certain comfort and where I can really shine and be myself confidently.
right,
Now, if I'm on stage with you, for example, and I know you don't have the same comforts, you know, where I exist in, I would I would I would tailor my vibe to fit yours, so that way we both can communicate a consistent, cohesive, coherent message to the audience. I will I will I will either dial it down or bring it up within
hmm,
my comforts to make sure that you feel a part of this conversation we're having on stage,
right,
this conversation that we're putting out into the world.
absolutely.
So when I first met you, I believe, I could be wrong, I believe at T-Volve, you came up on stage and you jammed with me, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
I possibly, I might have
Okay,
beatboxed or something.
I think you
Possibly.
did, and I can tell. Like Chuck the Maddox is a guy that I've traveled with and toured with, and he's
Hmm.
got that kindness about him because both of you
Right.
are like beasts when it comes to beatboxing
Ah,
and MC. No, for real.
thank you, man.
I'm
I
never
appreciate it.
trying to gas you right now, but I remember the first time I jammed with you on stage, I felt this kindness because I realized I was kind of in your wheelhouse when you started doing your thing with the MCing and the spoken word and the beatboxing all at
Right.
once, by the way. And I'm like, this guy could run circles around me in this space and leave me for dead, but he chose.
Ah,
But you know what I mean, right?
I
Like
know what you mean, though. Yeah, like trying to upstage somebody, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Just try to do your thing and not consider that you are trying to tell a story with another human being. So
Hmm.
the thing that really, really compelled me about you was your kindness in stage. And I think
Mm.
that's where we got the connection. And it came
Yeah.
through with the song One Day.
Yeah, no, it absolutely did, dude. And you know what's interesting is that you say that about kindness, and I think one of the things that's really good about me, in a lot of cases, let me knock on something made of tree there. I have a pretty decent memory. So you actually told me this before at the second T-Volve. We were
I,
eating. We were eating. We had a lunch. We had a lunch meeting together.
okay.
And you mentioned this to me at T-Volve, and we met. I can't remember how I decided to contact you. I don't remember how it worked. I don't know if I connected with you on
MySpace.
it was my oh my god. No, actually I think it was instant messenger from AOL. No,
Oh.
I'm joking. But no, because we're both old enough to know. But yeah, I think that I paged you on so no, I'm joking. So
You go way back. I sent a pigeon.
yeah, I paged you on my rotary phone and then I just let it beep. So yeah. But yeah, so I'm getting ahead of myself now. So
That's all right, man.
I remember when I realized the humility in you after the voice, because we hadn't been in contact
Mm.
from that meeting at T-Volve on Eastern Avenue before they moved to the new T-Volve further up the street. I
Yep.
had seen you at the smaller T-Volve, and then you were on The Voice. And then I went through a series of shows. And of course, I don't think you could have known this unless I told you. But the day you, Mark Evans, and I believe Joe Keys and the Late Bloomers Band were performing at Soundstage.
Soundstage.
Yes.
Mm.
Right? So, and Mark Evans opened for you. And the crazy thing about the humility of that night is that all three of you had the capability of being headliners. But
Mm.
all three of you were three headliners that just complemented the previous or the next performer. And it was amazing, right? But when you got off the stage, we connected briefly, and I knew that we didn't have a, the cohesive relationship we had now. But I think if you didn't remember me, you remembered my energy, and I spoke to you, but I also gave you space because you just got off stage, and you know we got to sell product, we got to interact with the fans that don't know what.
Not everyone knows that,
right? Or not everyone cares, right? So, because some people are very egocentric, like, well, no, I remember Nelly before he was on The Voice, so he needs to talk to me now. You know what I mean? So that's not where I was at. I did that to Mark. I didn't do that to you. Because...
but you've known Mark forever. And speaking of Mark, shout out to Mark Evans.
Yes, love you, brother. Love you, Mark.
I call Mark Evans my musical mentor because when I first started playing music in Baltimore, so music was never a thing I thought I would be doing full time. I never thought I'd be doing it full time. I kind of thought I'd be doing it as a hobby, as a way to kind of kick it in the weekends and hang out, whatever, meet the ladies, but I would go.
Yeah, we did though. We did. we married them.
Yeah, so. let's leave that alone. Yeah. Our wives are gonna watch this, but
the woman and my wife.
But I would go to Mick O'Shea's. Remember Mick O'Shea's on Charles Street?
Yeah.
And Mark Evans used to be, so it was so 1 week Mark Evans will host, and the other week Hudson and Prout. What's his name?
Peace and a Cup of Joe.
Yeah.
713 West Pratt Street. Peace and a Cup of Joe with Lamar. Yep.
Who's that? Oh, Mark Evans?
Mark Evans. He would host Peace and a Cup of Joe, and he'd do acoustic Thursdays.
Okay, yeah, he does that now, but back then he was the host for Mick O'Shea's.
Yeah.
And I would go to perform, and then I was so green, I didn't know what I was doing, and Mark would always encourage me and just give me Mark's like a big brother. It's good vibes.
Yeah,
like,
that's my brother, man. That's my big brother. Yeah, absolutely.
And he and I yet to do a song, so we're gonna do a song for sure. But
I want to rap on it.
We actually wrote a song. It was him. It was him, myself, Mosno. I believe it was three of us.
Mosno. Yo, shout out to Mosno, dude.
I haven't seen that. I got a bone to pick with Mosno, but I'll talk to him about that later on. But
yeah,
Mosno, he and I would go on tour, and I know we're going all over the place right now, but he and I would go on tour, and Mosno swore to me on his life that Nelly, I would never, ever have a child. Guess what I found out about a year ago? Mosno has a child.
Never. That's why you never say never, man.
Yeah. But anyway, all I have to say, the kindness, man, is amazing. From the people I choose to surround myself with and collaborate with, they have to have that thing. If it's missing from the recipe, I cannot vibe with you. So when I look back at the video we did with the one day and all our hand gestures and all our mannerisms,
that was crazy.
We are in sync.
Yeah.
How is that possible? So that was beautiful, man.
There was a move I was doing, and it's a dope Afrobeat move that I know you. Yeah, that one. Yo, I've tried to redo that. I only did that for the video. I can't do it anymore. So I was trying to look at the video to get a glimpse of it, and I was like,
it's called the Guara Guara. I think it's South African.
Yeah, Guara Guara.
Yeah, Guara Guara.
Yeah. Yo, all right. So you got to hook me up with that again because I only have it. Funny thing about my ability to dance, I dance better depending on the quality of the music. So like I kind of move to the music, and sometimes I happen to do moves that are related to the music because the music speaks to me to do that. But if you would have asked me like, Jamaal, do this dance, or hey Root, do that, and I'll be like, I don't know. I probably got about 15 dance moves in my wheelhouse, and after those dance moves are gone, and they only can be activated by a song. So like, there's a move I do when Poison by BBD comes out, and I'll nail it. Girl, I know like 8 different moves for that song, just for that song. If I would do those same moves in another song, it would be terrible. I would look like somebody who's never danced before.
Oh wow.
So it was the energy. I'm powered and charged by positive energy with people. So when you and I did that video shoot, your energy was at such a positive level. It was such at a high energy level that all I can do is reciprocate. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even a matter, like you said, it's not a matter of us bettering for competition. We better each other just by existing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I definitely peeped your humility early on, like I had said at the sound stage. And it had been in my mind to connect with you. And I think I just reached out and connect with you on Instagram or Facebook or something. And then we met at that space. I can't remember where it was. I don't know if it's still there right now, but it's off of it was a little coffee shop. It was a Black-owned coffee shop.
Oh, is it Coffee Therapy?
Coffee Therapy, yes.
Oh, I think it's still there. Rick and Monica. Oh God, forgive me. Michelle. Rick and Michelle.
Yep. And I met Rick. I don't think I met Michelle, but I met Rick a few times.
Okay.
And ironically, you had proposed. Our conversations were so positive and good at that point. You invited me. I think I did like a Facebook Live with you 1 or 2 times, and then you literally were like, "Hey, I want to do this like once a week. We should do it." And my schedule kind of conflicted with yours. And I was like, I'm free this day, but you were free that day. And it didn't work out. And we started writing songs together. And we even started, really building with each other as men and spiritual leaders in our community, And
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
And new elders, because it's crazy, but we are new elders. We're young elders, but we're elders, and people look to us for directly and indirectly for certain social cues, certain spiritual cues, certain physical cues, certain intellectual cues. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to share on this podcast and in life in general, and to share with you and learn from you as well.
Before I forget, I will touch on that. Make sure you follow my boy Jamaal Black Root at all his social media handles. He's got Black Root 1 on Instagram, Beatbox Dads. That's a funny one. And Black Root Underground. But I'm glad you touched on that. The idea of building each other up and building the community together. Because I think one of the best currencies that any community can have to thrive is togetherness.
Absolutely.
If we're united and we support each other, we can thrive, and not just survive. We can really, really thrive in society. And a lot of times I travel quite extensively on tour, whether it's college tours or private tours or whatever the case may be. And I see a lot of communities really, really support each other. Like they come together and support their own. And I'll give a real shout out to Tony Corelli. I don't know if you know who he is, but Tony Corelli owns a studio here called the Deep End Studios. And I know he's worked with Femi. He's worked with, I believe he's worked with Mark Evans too. I know he's worked with Chuck the Maddox, but he brought a bunch of Baltimore music together recently and in like a compilation CD, like maybe like, I want to say like over 12 songs, maybe 20 songs in the CD. And it's a way to promote local Baltimore music. But he brought all of these people together so that way the community can be strong. And I like that you touched on that, because I feel like sometimes in certain niches within the city, within the Baltimore music, we don't support each other as we should, and hence we don't thrive as we should. What do you think about that?
I think that it's important to be very careful to cast a spell to that narrative. I think that we do support each other. I think that we do have a very strong unit in Baltimore. I think that there are some of us who are unaware of how to maneuver with a positive intention to build, because of the fact that some people haven't been conditioned that way. Some people haven't been trained that way. But there are a multitude, a plethora of people who look like you and I that interact with each other very well. I think sometimes the issue does lie in consistency, but I've even noticed us being more consistent in connecting with each other and building with each other. And I think the people who aren't there yet, and they're not, and it's not that they don't necessarily want to be there. Sometimes I think you are so impacted by certain systemic flaws. Unfortunately, certain systemic things that are going really well to foster doubt and fear.
Expand on that. I feel like you just touching on the surface. Can you expand, go deeper in that?
Oh yeah. Come on, man. I'm Black Root. We get to the root of it. Let's get to the root, man. Right where is it? It's right there. It's right there. That's me, baby. So yeah, I'll dig into that, but let me finish this initial thought. I think that sometimes that's an issue where I love to spell out, and when I'm saying spelling, I'm talking about, just the definition of the word. When you're spelling something, when you're spelling words, you're casting spells,
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm having a good day, even if I don't necessarily feel great internally, I'll cast the spell that I will continue to have a good day, or that my day will go to an upside, as opposed to speaking about how blah my day feels, because I want to pull myself and pull my subconscious out of those feelings in some cases, or in many cases where they are. And I can't really explain how or why I do that. No, I can explain how I do that, but I can't explain why. It's just something innately that I have that motivates me to want to help other people. It motivates me to want to help myself first, so I can help other people. So I want to put something in my cup before I share with you. So I can't, if I don't drink what's left in here, I don't have enough energy to go get some more and give you some, But I think that, actually, unfortunately, I don't think this. I know this. I know that globally, unfortunately, people who look like us are divided by systemic oppressive forces that intend to keep us separated than together. There's a benefit to call people who look like me in America a minority, because in America you might be a minority, but globally we're a majority, right?
So true.
And if you think globally we're a majority, I have no problem connecting with Nelson. I have no problem connecting with Mark. I have no problem connecting with Issa Rae. I have no problem connecting with Tyler Perry or whatever, because we're family. We're a network, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your network is large, it's a lot harder to sever that network if you all trust each other and build and have different skill sets and connect with those skill sets, right?
I completely agree.
If I think I'm a minority, I'm casting a spell to the word minor, right? The last time in history, where the people who were implementing systemic oppression had any wind of the mistake of allowing positivity in spelling words was with the Moors. Blacks were called the Moors. There's no other time in history where people of color, based on the history books that I've seen in my school system, where people of color had a name that had such a strong positive connotation. You understand what I'm saying? So like when you think about the Moors, that word is the word is more. So there's nothing minor about more.
How's it spelled? Right? M-O-O-R or M-O-O-R-E?
M-O-O-R.
Okay.
At least in the English translation, I believe.
Okay.
So in the Moorish translation, I'm not sure.
What was it called? What would we call the Moors, by the way? Sorry.
You know what? I should know that, and I definitely don't want to speculate and be incorrect. Okay. But I'm sure there was definitely a reason for that.
I'll look it up myself too.
Yeah, no, and we need to talk about that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And I think that's another thing too, man. And this isn't just for ethnicity's sake. This is just a human flaw in some cases. When you don't know something, it's okay to say you don't know something.
I agree.
I think sometimes our egos write checks that our realities can't catch. So we want to act like we know more than we do. But I have no problem telling you I don't know a lot of stuff. I know a little bit of things, and I can speak on those little bit of things that I know really well. But if I don't know what it is, I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm not sure. And I'm
even surprised sometimes by what I think I know and how often what I think I know is proven to be false once I engage in enlightened conversations.
Yeah, right?
Oh, true. Yeah. It's so I've learned, I'm 40 now. I've learned over time to adopt more of a curiosity perspective than a know-it-all perspective.
Absolutely.
Because even though curiosity killed the cat, but curiosity also causes advancements in humanity and technology and society. And but going back to what you had said with the systemic oppression and how it's also affected access possibly to resources.
Absolutely.
Access to platforms that can, propel the musician, the artist to the next level, to have a bigger stage to share their art. I feel like I feel like there is in some ways there's unity, and in some ways there isn't. and maybe that's just my perspective. I feel like when I look at the musical landscape, for example, in like Africa,
Mhm.
Nigerian music is killing it all over the world.
Yes,
Like
it is. Yes, it
it's
is.
like, look at
Yo,
even
Burna Boy is my guy, yo.
it's
Oh my god.
killing it
He's
all
not, but
over the
he's one
world.
of many. Yeah.
Burna Boy, Davido, Techno,
Mm-hmm.
Wizkid. Nigerian
Yemi
music is
Alade, he's
killing it.
awesome.
Yemi Alade,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, uh, I was thinking another one, but it's killing it.
P
But
Square. Like we could go.
we can go
The
all the
whole
way
podcast
now.
could be talking about Nigeria. We could just one podcast Nigeria, next podcast Jamaica, next podcast Ghana. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
just go.
but it's African music is killing it. But who controls the revenue? Like
Mm-hmm.
who controls the narrative? Who
Mm-hmm.
controls these artists don't control that. If you look down the line and see who writes the checks, I'll
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you they don't look like them. So I just feel like a lot of times with people that look like you and I, there is not enough. And maybe it's a power that be that is making sure it's we stay divided so we're easy to conquer. But I don't feel like there's enough unity and togetherness to really make us a strong economy to
Yeah,
succeed.
I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but on the bright side, there's a lot of work that has been done.
True.
So definitely not to negate anything that you said. I just like to speak to what is working and what is being built. And of course, off screen, we could talk about what's going wrong. I'm a big fan of putting forward what's going right on the social media face, and we can build on the inequities on the back end between the people who look like us amongst ourselves and work on that. I think one thing that's happened in this society that's definitely obvious is that when there is disunion amongst people of other ethnicities and other religious cultures, everybody doesn't weigh in on an opinion. When somebody who looks like us has disunion on a large scale, everybody has an opinion about it. You know what I mean? And that's by design, because if one portion of, and this is me not picking on anybody, but just using an example of another culture. If somebody in China had an issue with somebody else in China, and it was a couple of hundred people having issues with a couple of hundred people or a couple of thousand people, because there are millions of people in that
billions
nation.
of people in China,
right? Billion, you know what I'm saying? So if there was an issue, they keep it within themselves. If you notice their social media, they have a blanket over their social media. So we talk about narratives that get spun in America. We're like, I forgot, this was maybe over a decade ago. So we might have moved up or moved down in the rankings. But I want to say we're not even in the top 5 of how narratives are spun for a given country.
Oh yeah, the government controls the social media.
Yeah. So the government in China, they mastermind their social media. There's certain websites that don't even exist on Chinese operating systems, on their iOS. Like, it doesn't even exist for you to find it. You have to go off country, you have to go off site, or go on the black web to find it. But yeah, in America, there's a lot of stuff going on, but those things that are going on are, like you said, they're creating division. The fact that everybody has an opinion, if all these opinions, how can I say this? I'll use an analogy to make it more brief so we can continue. Opinions are like heartbeats. The harder you work, the more you hear them. You know what I mean? And
opinions are like heartbeats. The harder you work, the louder they get, the more you hear them.
That too, both. The louder you get and the more you hear them. So think about running. When you're running, like when you're walking, you don't really hear too much. Your heart's still beating. So technically, when you're at a certain level, or a certain level of, what's the word? Not finance, but a certain level of access. When you're at a certain level of access, people are making opinions about you, but they're making opinions about a monolith of you, or people who they think are like you, right? But then you start walking faster. Then your heart rate picks up. Then you start to notice some opinions. Then you start running. Then you get to a level, you know what I'm saying? You get to a certain a level of perceived affluence. And the harder you work, the more you ascend in whatever this perceived successful perception is supposed to be, you start to hear more people talk about you.
That's true.
And in some cases it's great, but in a lot of cases it's trying to give you pride before the fall. In many cases,
see how high they can lift you up. To see how high they can lift you up. See how long you fall or how far you fall.
Yeah, and it's crazy because
let's build you up so you can see how far you fall.
Yeah, because that's why you have to build yourself up. And you have to use, whatever benevolent deity you believe in. If it's God, if it's Allah, if it's Yahweh, if it's the universe, depending on how you communicate with the universe. We all communicate with the universe different ways. Right?
Yeah.
And if you're using that source to elevate the people around you, it's a lot harder to tear yourself down. It's a lot harder to be torn down by other people. Because if you're allowing other people to build you up, it's easy for them to tear you down because you might feel that they're your source of confidence and they're your source of success.
I agree.
So it's layered, so and the crazy thing, it's an amalgamation of all of that. So it is a combination of people helping you. It is a combination of you believing in yourself. It is a combination of the higher power. All of it's always connected, but you have to maintain that balance,
homeostasis.
That homeostasis to make sure that as you're ascending, you're still balanced. You're still on code with whatever code was that you felt made sense when you started this journey, which is hard because sometimes you don't even articulate what that code is until you get more wisdom, more experience, more knowledge, or somebody speaks to you in a way that you weren't listening before.
Somebody speaks to you. It reminds me, hopefully I have it right. This lady was talking to Dave Chappelle. I want to say it was Maya Angelou. I could be wrong. I will do my research. Yeah, but she said something, and I'm paraphrasing now. And the wisdom of the elders, you'd call this young elders. I think it's important. But the wisdom of the elders is great because what she told Dave Chappelle in that conversation she had with Dave Chappelle was she does not take compliments. She lets it go and she leaves it. That's what she said. So she doesn't take compliments and she doesn't take criticisms. She just kind of accepts it for what it is and lets it go. Because if you take compliments, the same people, the same circumstances that compliment you might be the same circumstances that lead to your downfall.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the same circumstances that pull you down might be the same set of circumstances that lead you to your uprise.
Right.
And you have to be very humble and maintain a sense of balance all the time, which is why sometimes for artists on a certain level, all they want is that ascension to the superstardom, and they will do everything they can to get there, right? Not knowing that the ones who are there just cannot wait to get a little moment of rest,
a little bit of peace, right?
Yeah, because it's overwhelming, and so yeah, when she said that to him, I'm like, yes, that makes a lot of sense because I was on The Voice, and I kid you not, after I got off the show on The Voice, people started coming. Oh, Nelson, we love you so much. They came out to the shows in droves. Everywhere. Nelson, we loved you. I was only on the show. Let's see. I got kicked off in the battle rounds, which is the second round. You cannot vote in the battle rounds. I got kicked off the show in the battle rounds.
You were was it Christina?
Christina Aguilera, yeah.
Yeah, she had you power singing, like she had you running all over the place.
There's a story behind that, but I won't even go there right now.
Yeah, I saw the story, so we don't. I know you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
she's awesome too, by the way. But yeah.
Oh, I did get to meet her persona, but I'll talk about that another time. But the point of the story I was trying to say was at no point in the show were people able to vote for me. No one could vote for me because I didn't make it to the live rounds. However, when I came back to Baltimore and people saw me, they said, "Oh man, I voted for you. I loved you so much in the show." And I'm looking at them like, "Why are you lying?" So it didn't dawn on me. I'm not saying that to blame them or point the finger at them. Like, I'm just saying that I didn't realize that, this, what I do and the compliments I get and the fame I get, it's all very fickle. And if I hold on to something very fickle, eventually the branch will break and I'll fall. So I just let it go. I stay grounded. I dig my roots in.
Yeah.
I dig my roots in, and I stay grounded. So, But tell me though, what's on the horizon for, before we wrap this up? What's on the horizon for Black Root? What's happening? What's musically?
Musically, it's been an interesting time. I've actually purchased some musical equipment. Like right now, I'm talking from a laptop that I'm using for some minor studio recording before I send it out. I got a really cool microphone.
Look at you.
What is this with the little P filter on it, looking a little fancy, huh?
Look at you, man.
A little bit of fanciness.
Moving on up.
You got these noise canceling headphones. They don't really cancel the noise. They're not that. Yeah, so I'm working on a project, and I'm actually working my most recent thing, and I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to share it with you. Two most recent things. I teamed up with a gentleman by the name of Un Dos Tres Andres, and he has a band. He's an amazing gentleman, and I was tasked to help him with writing one of his songs that's going to be on one of his forthcoming albums. And I can't wait to share that with you. I don't have all the details just yet because it's still in the mixing and mastering phase and all that. Otherwise, I would just share it with you, because when I first heard some of the music, I got so giddy as a songwriter, you know, because I always respected songwriters who had the ability to pass some of their music on to other people, or, you know, who considered themselves songwriters. I always considered myself an MC and a musician, but I never felt I had. And when I was younger in the game, and by younger, I mean like 4 or 5 years ago, I wasn't confident within myself to write a song that might be a ballad, or a song that wasn't a rap song or a spoken word piece. And I realized that I've been around music my entire life, and for me to think that I'm not capable of doing that is silly. And I'm glad I took that step, you know. And prior to COVID, I started writing songs, and I've had an opportunity to co-write with Andres, and it's been amazing. So that project is coming out hopefully in the next few months, and I'll definitely, you know, tag social media for that. So guys, definitely follow me and check me out for what's going on. Another awesome thing, I'm teaming up, as you look as it scrolls down below, Beatbox Dads, which is a combination of myself and Mr. Max. So with the children, I go by Mr. Root. And my partner in beatboxing, my beatbox brother, goes by the name of Mr. Max. And together we are the Beatbox Dads. We have Baby Beats, which is a live music and movement program for children. And that's between the ages of pregnant mom to 2nd or 3rd grade. And everything else is under the umbrella of the Beatbox Dads. All of it is all powered by the human voice. So any music that you hear, for the most part, I'll probably say 98% of it, is all coming from vocal percussion or beatboxing. The other percentage is coming from me rapping, me singing, Max rapping, Max singing. And every week on Beatbox Dads on Instagram, we are going to be posting footage. So, you know, we're talking about maintaining that balance, but also sharing and having the ability to share with as many people as possible. And if we weren't talking about that, I want to talk about it.
Please
so,
Please
so we're definitely doing that. And I've seen you do that. So honestly, that's an inspiration from you, because I know that, you know, that one day was a part of you creating content to keep people interested and interacted with your pages and you, and staying connected to you, because you want to also stay connected to them. You know what I mean? So it's an exchange of energy.
Amen
So Baby Beats is the most, it's the most prevalent of the 3 things that I'm doing, or of the many things that I'm doing right now. I'm also working in school, so I'm a master teaching artist to young audiences of Maryland and Story Tapestries. I've been to over 200 schools in almost all the counties in Maryland. I've been into several counties in Virginia. I've even been overseas being a master teaching artist. I was in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Shout out to La Paz and Lakeside International. So I've had an opportunity to really move with music and with this, you know, this God-given talent. So I'm just really blessed. So, and I also teamed up and collaborated with Dan and Claudia. Dan, the Zanes. So we did a collaboration, and they're doing something for UCLA that should be coming up in October. And you can follow me on Instagram to find out exactly what that's about. And that was a Beatbox Dads collaboration as well. So we're beatboxing and they're doing some music, so it's pretty cool. So I think hopefully I covered most of what's going on. Oh, and when you met me, I was with the group called Axiom. So
I remember that, yeah.
That was Word Slave and myself.
Yeah.
He goes by Word now primarily, and he has his own band called Brothers Keeper. But we are actually working on a new project. This
when is
month.
That dropping?
Oh, when does it drop? I don't. Whenever it's finished, I don't know. So it's already written, but we're actually going to meet up with a couple of producers. Specifically, one I think when I go to this one producer on Saturday, this might be it, and this is going to be the one. And then we'll just start working on recording at that point.
Dope, man. I'm out of breath hearing everything you're doing. It's like you are staying pretty busy. I know you're a family man as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, and I'm married and got kids. So
I know.
So that's also a thing that's popping. So my kids are amazing. My wife is amazing. She's working very hard from home, and then kids are working from home as well with the virtual learning. And I'm kind of navigating that because I have a slightly more flexible schedule than my wife does. So I'm tasked with being the go-between and being a tech person in the house when something's not working. And then, my wife comes through and manages and is like, hey, doesn't somebody have a meeting right now? And I'm like, ha!
She's the project manager.
That was 3 minutes ago, but I'm right on it, So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, we're definitely moving and shaking. It's a process and it's a challenge, but it's worth it.
Dude, I'm proud of you, man. I think I can say this with every fiber of my body. You are, and I know you probably resist this tag, but you are a Baltimore hero. And I can say that because I know you, and I know everything that you do for the community. I know you invited me once a while ago to come to your school to just offer the kids what I call it a different cultural experience.
Absolutely.
To kind of open their minds a little bit to see what's possible in the world. I take that very seriously, and I take that I'm very humbled to have been a part of the process. So I know what you do. I will call you a local Baltimore hero. People might not realize that are doing things on the back end to better the communities you are doing. There's so much more I know we can talk about with regards to music. We can probably talk for 10 hours straight.
Yeah, just music, right.
Just music alone. So we'll have to do this again many, many, many more times moving forward. But
absolutely.
Let me just plug this in before I forget. Make sure you follow him at Black Root 1 Instagram or Beatbox Dads Instagram and Black Root on the ground on Instagram.
Yeah, they're all different. So
all different.
I'm doing all different stuff. So
it's a busy man.
Underground is my band. You can definitely check us out on Bandcamp, Root Canal, the Black Root Underground, Baby Beats, Play Mode.
I like that.
That's on Bandcamp, and this is also on Bandcamp. This is my solo project. Yeah, so definitely check those things out. And I left out another important thing, my health. So, my cardio is definitely not where I would like it to be. And I know everybody has different walks of, where they are in terms of their fitness journey. And, I admire Nelson's fitness journey quite a bit because I know he's a great football player. In America, we call it soccer. But
man, you said football. I appreciate that.
Hey, come on, man! You gotta speak the language of the people, man.
Amen to that. It's not soccer; it's football, people. Football.
Right. We're not playing with socks. We're playing with balls and feet. That's what she said.
It sound like Mark Evans now.
Can we rewind that? Can we edit that out?
Nope.
We're playing with footballs and feet.
He said it. You know what, though? You know what this reminds me of? Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
I would never, ever expose this friend. But this is something that he has promised. He told me, you must take this to the grave with you. Like, you cannot tell anyone this.
This is tough.
But this is a long time ago. When in my clubbing days, he and I would go out, with my other friends. We'd just go out and hang out. Just whatever, kick it. And it was Halloween. This particular
I can see this not going to a good place. But I'm with it. I'm here for the ride.
It was Halloween. And the way the club was set up, it was like first floor and a half, and then second floor. So from the floor and a half, you could walk down to the main dance floor, which was on the first floor. So I was on the floor and a half, just kind of overlooking the dance floor, picking out my targets. You know how they just scoping out the landscape.
You're admiring the scenery, yes.
I'm admiring the scenery, and
standard operating procedure.
Exactly. SOS. I just
SOP.
SOP. Anyway, my boy is in the dance floor doing his thing. Mind you, Halloween, people are dressed up, all dressed up, so you don't know who's who, right? And some dudes, I don't know what it is. Some dudes like to dress, with wigs and skirts, right? So hey, who am I to judge? You do you, I do me, right? But I was dressed as a Men in Black. I had my shades, I had my dark suit. It was when Men in Black was popular then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I see I'm talking to someone over here. I see my boy making his way through the crowd, and I see he's making a beeline for this situation over here. And I realize, because from my vantage point, that this situation is not what he thinks it is, because he's seen from the backside and he's making a beeline. I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well. And I just stopped talking to my situation. I rushed down there to save my boy,
Because you care.
Because I care. I mean, I could have just watched him do it and then I can ridicule him afterwards. But I'm not that kind of friend.
That's good.
I rushed down there and stopped him right before. I'm like, dude, that's a dude. It's like, nah. I'm like, dude, that's a dude. But he had to see for himself. He turned around, and then he's like, you cannot tell anybody about it.
Because he checked them out. He checked out. Because you already know, if he saw him from the back and liked what he saw, that's... I mean, but hey, each his own. I don't think that was the own that he wanted.
Yeah.
But that's the own that he would have got.
That's what he would have gotten. He didn't ask for it.
What it is. I mean, we're in an inclusive society, man. Like, if that's what he wants to do in the future, intentionally. I'm always about intention, right?
Yes.
So the intention of sincerity. His intention was to meet somebody that didn't have the same chromosomes as him.
Yes.
But that wasn't the case. And you were just helping him with that.
Yeah, I was trying to show him his options. And
because let him know. Because if he still wanted to go, like, hey, bro.
I gave what was that Matrix? Red pill and the blue? What was the pill?
Right. I mean, both of them are pills. I mean, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You make sure too much.
Yeah, man. So that was a crazy story, but yeah, I will not edit that out. Or if you say shit, I will edit that out. It's up to you. But I think we should leave it the way it is.
Well, I didn't do it. I don't know.
But thank you so much for being on this podcast, man. I as a brother, I love you, and I wish you all the best. And definitely, like I said, I'll have you in many, many more episodes. We can talk about whatever. And
same way, man. Same way.
Appreciate you, brother. Well, be safe. I will see you out and about. And till the next time we groove again, keep making good music, roots music.
Likewise. Yo, and check out. Are you this way? Am I pointing right? No. Are you this way?
Yeah.
Right there? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So
like
if you haven't yet, go check out One Day. All right? It's One Day. That's the title. I put it over there so you guys can see it. Oh, can they see it or will they not see it?
No, they can't. So I can do this. Check this out. Check out technology.
Let's go, technology.
Save and show.
One Day. It's on YouTube. Check it out. He just posted it on his Instagram page. I'm gonna tag and repost and do the same. We want to get like 10,000 views. and that's a low estimate. We want 10,000 people to look at it. So if it's one of y'all that looks at it from 10,000 different computers, I know it'll be a task, but I challenge you to do that. All right. I've already exhausted my IP addresses. I've already put like 4 different homes and into it, where I live. And I've been to 6 other homes that people like kind of know.
Did they know you were there?
I use their Wi-Fi to see if it would work because I don't really know computers. So I know I took care of 17 different views. So I need y'all to take care of the other 10,000.
Yeah, just get the rest.
Get the rest.
10,000.
I got the first 17's on the house. The other,
it's on you.
Yeah, the other 9,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna do that.
The other 9. Hold on.
You're a teacher, man.
The other 9,983.
You passed. You about to go down, but you did not. I had your back, though.
It took me a while. Thank you, man. You saw me going towards the wrong math problem, and you tried to save me. I'm good. I got you.
I appreciate you, brother. Well, Yeah, I love you, man. See you next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. God bless you all. See you. Peace.